Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay Today. And this is like I Love Gay Today 2.0 because this is a relaunch. We haven't done a video in a few months, but this is kind of a relaunch and a focus that's going to really be on much more of LGBTQ media, marketing, advertising, and all conversations around that. And who better to kick that off with than Tracy Gilchrist? How are you, Tracy?
Hey Matt, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you so much for having me help kick off this new, relaunch of your show. I
It it
appreciate it.
it just totally made sense. And the crazy
Yeah.
part was is that you and I have known of each other for many years and kind of knew each other virtually vicariously. But we
Yeah.
finally met last month in New York in the real world,
Right.
and I was so glad we did.
Yeah, I'm glad we did too. It's great. I mean, it's only been since what, 2008
I
since
know.
we've been orbiting each other. Or actually no, 2006 because I was a freelance editor for Lesbian Nation for
Okay.
2 years before I came on full time and then relaunched it as She Wired. So
Yeah.
we've been orbiting each other for 20 years.
It's amazing. And so yeah, that's the crazy part. Yeah, because you had worked
Yeah.
on the editorial side. You'd worked with Fabrice, and he handled all of our writers and editorial
Hmm.
side, and I was busy running around on the sales and marketing end. But then when we
Yeah.
sold to Here Media, I was only there for a little while, and then I left, and that's when you had come on board full time. So basically, we just
Right.
kept missing each other all those years.
I know.
But all of the folks that all of our old team, and a lot of and it's crazy that when we were comparing notes, you're still really good friends with folks that we had a part of our team 20
Oh my
plus years
God.
ago as well.
Yeah, I just saw Ross this week. Ross von Metzke. Yeah.
I love all that. But yeah, we have this history together. You've been in LGBTQ media for a very long time, and now you're doing what's called Holding Space with Tracy, which is it's a weekly series, video podcast, and
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that you've put that together. And I've been watching some of them, and you've got some great guests.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something I've wanted to do for a long time is have an interview podcast. I love
Yeah.
interviewing people. I've been doing broadcast interviews since about 2019, so on camera, but even before then, I was interviewing folks and doing big feature stories. And I've wanted to do this podcast for quite a while. I went viral in 2024 for Holding Space with the lyrics of Defying Gravity with my Wicked interview with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And there was a real audience for people who understood what I was trying to get at when I said those now kind of infamous words.
Yeah.
This week, people are holding space with the lyrics of Defying Gravity. That really built a community of people who still stop me on the street here and there and tell me what that meant to them or ask to take a photo or to hold my finger like Ariana and Cynthia did in the interview. So it really showed me that there was a world outside of what I was already doing that people were interested in, more kind of deep dive, long conversations. I've never been someone who goes for the easy, oh, let's try to go get something to go viral. I don't try to be controversial. I try to just ask real questions about art and advocacy. And I usually get some really beautiful answers. So
Yeah.
it's been lovely for me to be able to work in queer media in that space, but I wanted to take it larger. So that's where I am now with Holding Space with Tracy.
I think that really took off with your Wicked interview, because
Mhm.
we were talking about this when we were together in New York. You do something kind of unique as an interviewer, which is that you really make yourself kind of secondary in the interview process. You're there just to sort of guide things along, maybe in some way shepherd the conversation forward, but
Mhm.
um, but you really allow your guests to shine. And not all folks that are doing these video podcasts and so forth, they don't all subscribe to that. But I think that's unique because then when you do that, you're able to then be able to have those moments like holding space and how that came about. And
Yeah.
um, and I think that's a great attribute to you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it may not be for everyone. Some people love when the podcast hosts make it about themselves,
Yeah, yeah,
but I do come from a more traditional media space, and it's kind of a hybrid where ask a question. I really try to give them the room to answer. And then I'm not going to ask you, what are you wearing? What products are you really into? It's just not
Yeah.
what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I might ask some kind of lighter questions just
Mm.
to kind of bring somebody in and establish that relationship. But then I try to go a little bit deeper and discuss themes. I've always been about themes. And even if someone's in a silly comedy, there's always
Mhm.
some larger sociological meaning to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Even something like I was talking with somebody about the movie Stop That Train, which is a intended to be dumb, kind of airplane-esque disaster film,
Yeah.
and starring RuPaul's Drag Race queens. And so on its face, it's not political, but the mere fact that it exists with drag queens and all kinds of queer people
Yeah.
is a radical act. So, and they're just making people laugh. That is so important right now. So, I always try to find that
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that's just what I do.
I haven't seen that movie yet, but I want to.
It's so silly, so intentionally dumb. I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot. Yeah.
But right now you've got like the interview you're promoting and it's all over your through your social is with Hacks and Mark, if I'm saying his last name correctly, Indelicato.
Yes, Mark Indelicato. That was last week. Today we just posted Valerie Curry
Okay.
from The Boys. She played Firecracker on The Boys.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've been getting incredible guests. And
Yeah.
Mark was great. Mark obviously, came up through Ugly Betty as
Hmm.
Justin Suarez and is very beloved for that. And he played Damien, Deborah, Jean Smart's assistant on Hacks. And Hacks is a juggernaut, obviously. So, what an incredible gift to be able to chat with him. And then The Boys, if you haven't seen it, it is one of the few series to really interrogate the Trump administration.
Mm.
And it does it through superheroes, it does it through the iconography of the people who likely support that administration.
Yeah.
So smart. It's so smart. And Valerie is a queer person who plays a MAGA coded evangelical
Okay.
named Firecracker. And so we had some great conversations around that. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorites. So I saw this a while ago. Is the Michael Urie one. I don't know why. Also
Oh,
from Ugly Betty. I just love him.
he's a love. Like, what an extreme talent. He's been on Broadway, he's a film star, he's on Shrinking, and he's been a producer. I think he writes, great singer, just
Mhm.
an incredible human being. And approachable and sweet. He's been around a while. Yeah. He's one of those actors who's in everything. And then people are like, oh, I think now he's Emmy nominated. So he's really getting the attention he deserves
Yeah.
as of, Shrinking.
Yeah, I agree. But
Yeah.
it's we kind of glossed over the fact that, as we were saying at the beginning, but you were there at Here Media running She Wired, but you kind of rose through the ranks and you became editor in chief of the Advocate and Out magazines. And
That's it.
not only did you do some great interviews then, but also that's when you started really developing out the podcast idea as well, right?
Yes, I had wanted to do a podcast so long ago. I
Mhm.
remember I actually came across a document from my earliest ideas about doing a podcast. I was running She Wired. We had a lot of really young employees. They were millennials then, and they were the youngest.
Mhm.
And I really wanted to do a cross-generational podcast, which
Yeah.
I did eventually launch. My earliest notes were from about 2015. In 2017, we had a millennial-aged trans woman who was also a pop culture nerd, and she and I launched a podcast. At the time, it was called The Advocates,
Yeah.
and we would assign each other homework, which was kind of fun. She would assign me something that she loves. Often it was something science fiction related. And I would often assign her something from my coming out years, which, might be a Eurythmics video or Erasure or some music that she was not aware of. And so we would have those segments and we would interview folks as well. We had some great people in studio for that podcast. And that went on for about 2.5 years under the company umbrella. Unfortunately, they're no longer hosted on the sites,
Mm.
so you
Yeah.
can't find them. I think there's one episode on Apple TV. And, so that was beautiful. It kind of got me going in terms of podcasting. At the same time, I had also been on the Frank DeCaro show. I was a weekly guest on Sirius XM's The Frank DeCaro Show.
Hmm.
They called me Girl Friday, and I would come in for a segment and talk about pop culture.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was obsessed with The Good Wife, so I almost always talked about The Good Wife.
Yeah.
Uh, but so I had that experience being on air. And then, yes, I became the feminism editor of The Advocate in 2017. And then in 2020, just weeks before we all went into lockdown, I became the co-editor in chief of The Advocate along with David Artavia,
Yeah.
who is now working for a nonprofit.
Okay.
And by the end of that summer in 2020, I was the sole editor in chief of The Advocate. And so proud of a lot of the work that I got to do at that time. It was really difficult
Yeah.
learning print production in the pandemic, all
Yeah.
alone in my apartment in West LA with my 5-month-old kitten who was literally eating my homework and bouncing off the walls. But very, very gratifying. I'm so proud of so many of the covers that we were
Mhm.
able to put out at that time because, it was a challenge. We couldn't do photo shoots.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had to get really creative. And yeah, just really proud of that. Through it all, though, I, when I was offered the position of editor in chief, I did say I only want it if I can continue to interview people and storytell, because that is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
That at my
Yeah.
core, that is what I do. So even while I was producing the magazine and running the newsroom, I was doing interviews with folks and putting them out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah. I just can't wait to see what some of your upcoming interviews that that we get to see, because you were just in New York and I know you did things at Stonewall and so forth. So you were
Yeah.
creating content all along the way.
Yes, in April. So it's a
Yeah.
minute. It's been a minute now, but I've switched podcast producers, and we took us a little while to get back up off the ground for season two.
Yeah.
So in April, my now co-producer Tony Morrison, who's also my publicist, and I call him my fairy godmother. He has
Yeah.
been such a gift to me, helping me along the way while I try to get my business off the ground. So he has a relationship with Stonewall Inn,
Mm.
booked that, got a videographer, and in April I did on a Monday 3 interviews and the following day 3 more interviews. One of those is out already. That was with Peppermint. We launched season two with Peppermint because the week we launched was Pride in New York City, and she was a Grand Marshal of Pride. So
Yeah.
that felt as though it had a lot of symmetry. And
Yeah.
I can tell you because we have a trailer that came out. So I also have upcoming Harvey Guillen from the Rocky Horror Show.
Yes. I love
Uh,
him.
yeah, he's incredible. And What We Do in the Shadows,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep.
Michael James Scott, who played Aladdin on Broadway he played the genie in Aladdin on Broadway. I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of performances. I forgot the number, but what an incredible performer. I also have Stacey Lentz,
Yeah.
the co-owner of Stonewall Inn, interviewed her. We have coming up Marty Cummings, who's a drag queen and politician and activist,
Hmm.
and also Plasma, who is RuPaul's Drag Race drag queen, who I just adore.
Yeah.
Just such a sweetheart. And then I have a little bonus episode with Lena Hall, who is a Broadway Tony Award winner for Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and she was just on Your Friends and Neighbors
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Apple TV Plus. She plays John Hamm's sister on that series.
I watched that series, so now I'm going to pay closer attention to that.
She's the one who plays guitar
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
the singer.
exactly.
She's amazing. She
Yeah,
tones it down for that. Her voice is outrageous. You cannot believe she's a rock and roll girl.
yeah, yeah.
You cannot believe the notes this woman hits. If I
Wow.
recommend Googling her cover of Radiohead's Creep, it is out of this
I'm
world.
going to now. No, because I enjoy
Yes,
watching her. Yeah, she's good.
she's so good. Yeah.
Well, and lastly, like one of the things that you do though is that it's your production value, also not only your style, but your production value. It's not like this where you and I are doing this through Zoom and we have another camera, but you've got
Yeah.
a really nice camera setup, high-end podcast, and you really have kind of created an environment that does well in today's environment, I think.
Well, thank you for that. It was important to me when I was with my former company, Equal Pride. We had
Yeah.
discussed the idea of a podcast, and I felt as though they were really looking to do it virtual, which obviously is cost effective. To me, the reason I went viral, one of the reasons I went
Mhm.
viral with Cynthia and Ariana was the room was warm. We
Yeah.
were,
Yeah.
when I walked in for that 4-minute interview, Cynthia recognized me because we had done a Zoom interview. I wrote the cover story for the Out 100 that year when she was the year. So she recognized me. And as soon as she recognized me, Ariana perked up and said, and it was kind of like, oh, this is the friend of my friend.
Yeah.
It was one of those energies. And then Ariana complimented my outfit, and there was warmth in the room. I really believe that, to me, holding space, yes, we can do it virtually, but to be in the presence of another person and kind of, and not to be too woo woo, but to take in that aura and, really connect with someone. I mean, like when we met in New York City,
Yeah.
there's nothing like that. Get to share a coffee,
Hmm.
or share a conversation over coffee. We didn't share a coffee, you know, and have that shared experience with the environment all around you. So it was critical to me that I be able to do that in person.
Yeah.
And, I had a producer who made that happen for season one. Now I have a different producer who's making that happen for season two, and that's Tony Morrison.
Mhm.
So forever grateful to him for helping me, you know, put my vision out into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. And I'm going to make sure that there are links to, when I post this, links to not only all your social media, your website, but also some of you've got some great interviews, including with Baby Gay. I love that one.
Yeah,
That,
I love PJ. PJ's terrific, doing
yeah,
great work. We actually, we call each other
yeah,
every now and then, and we're friends, and
yeah.
we support each other in whatever way we can because we're both trying to get a business off the
Hmm.
ground.
Yeah,
I should
yeah,
stop saying try. We both are getting a business off the ground. It's just a challenge,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we need support, and we need people to watch the our podcasts and to support in whatever way possible. I love doing this work. I want to keep putting it out into the world. So,
yep,
you know, looking for opportunity for sure.
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
I think out of everybody that I've met so far doing this, you're one of the very top that I'm hoping a lot of goodwill and good opportunity comes your way.
Matt, that means a lot.
No,
Honestly. Thank you.
it's very heartfelt. So, no, I
Yeah.
really appreciate you being able to take a few moments of your time and just kind of share a bit of your story with our audience. And
Yeah.
I look forward to the next time we connect in the real world.
Me too. I hope it's soon. I hope
Yes.
I get to New York again very soon.
Or I'll just come out to LA.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well,
mean, I'm
thanks.
trying to I'm going to put that out in the world. I am trying
Yes,
to move to New York. I'm looking for job opportunities and, you know, places to live and all that. It's a dream
exactly.
that I did not realize when I was younger. And so I want to make it happen.
Yep. I think everybody should live in New York at least once in their life. So,
Yeah,
time to make that happen.
absolutely.
Well, thanks again here.
Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate it.
Take care.